Can you believe some people still think climate change isn't real? What's your take? The environmental value, TIV, is here once again to inspire you. Watch this short clip and see why taking action matters. Let's be more eco-friendly together.
Dr. John? You must be Ethan Lewis. You are welcome. Thanks for agreeing to meet. I'm writing a feature on climate change. There's so much information out there, and honestly, it's hard to separate fact from exaggeration. That's exactly the problem, misinformation. But tell me, what's your stance? Do you believe climate change is real? I believe the climate is changing, sure. But hasn't it always? There were ice ages, warm periods, natural cycles. How do we know this isn't just another one? A great question. Yes, the Earth has natural climate cycles, but what's happening now is different. The speed and intensity of warming are unprecedented. Scientists have analyzed tree rings and ocean sediments, and the data is clear. Our current crisis is driven by human activity, not nature. Human activity? You mean fossil fuels? Exactly. Burning coal, oil, and gas releases massive amounts of carbon dioxide. CO2 traps heat in the atmosphere, creating the greenhouse effect. And the numbers don't lie. Global CO2 levels have skyrocketed since the Industrial Revolution. So, let's say I accept that. What's the worst that could happen? Where do I start? We're already seeing record-breaking heat waves, stronger hurricanes, wildfires ravaging forests, and rising sea levels threatening coastal cities. Millions of people will be displaced. Food shortages will increase. It's not a distant problem, it's happening now. But isn't technology advancing? Won't we just adapt? Adaptation is part of the solution, but it's not enough. Imagine a future where an entire state is covered with water, where an entire country disappears. Millions of climate refugees with nowhere to go. Adaptation won't stop that. So, what do you say to people who claim climate change is just a hoax? I ask them to look outside. The desertification in Nigeria, the fires in Australia, the floods in Pakistan, the droughts in California, these aren't theories. They're reality. And every year, it gets worse. Let's assume we're in crisis mode. What's the solution? Can we actually stop climate change? We can slow it down. The key is reducing greenhouse gas emissions, fast. Easier said than done. Fossil fuels power our economies. Switching overnight isn't realistic. True, but we don't need to switch overnight, we need to accelerate the transition. Renewable energy like solar and wind is now cheaper than coal in many places. Electric vehicles are gaining momentum. The shift is happening. We just need to push harder. But even if we switch to renewables, isn't there still damage already done? Yes. That's why we need carbon capture, reforestation, and sustainable agriculture. We must restore what we've destroyed. Sounds expensive. How do we convince governments and corporations to invest? By showing them the real cost of inaction. Climate disasters cost billions. Investing in clean energy now saves money in the long run. Plus, green energy creates jobs. And what about the average person? What can individuals do? More than you'd think. Eat less meat. Animal agriculture is a huge emitter. Reduce waste. Use public transport. Vote for leaders who prioritize climate action. Every small action adds up. Vote for leaders who prioritize climate action. Every small action adds up. You're really passionate about this. Have you always been this way? I wasn't, actually. It hit me when I was doing field research in the Arctic. I saw ice sheets collapsing, structures that had existed for thousands of years vanishing before my eyes. That's when I knew this wasn't just science. It was survival. You know, I used to think this was all overblown. But hearing you talk, seeing the evidence, it's hard to ignore. What's the most urgent thing we can do right now? End fossil fuel subsidies. Governments still pump billions into coal, oil, and gas. Imagine if that money went into renewables instead. And if we don't act? Trust me, you don't want to think about it. Maybe nature is giving us a moment to think. Maybe. But we can't wait for nature to save us. We have to save ourselves. To solutions, then? To solutions.
Thank you for watching. I believe together we can save the environment today, for the future.